reach out to me Sunday to do she wanted to do some sort of blog to complement this piece.
Yeah.
And then I never heard from her, which is unlike her. So I messaged her yesterday. I'm like, are you okay?
Yeah,
Still
she
haven't
was
heard
going to
back.
keep the best. So,
That's
but
funny.
do you know Jane for a while?
No, I just met her for the first time in person when she stepped up to help the people in her building that got displaced because of the fire. So she and I were talking daily throughout a couple weeks at that point in time. And she's been a part of Barrie Families Unite since it started last March. And I think she relayed to me some early on, she needed help because she had some sort of operation or something, and was able to get I think it was meds or something delivered to her by somebody. And so from that moment on, she was determined to pay it forward and has been an avid, engaged part of the group. So, but I don't even know all these stories that happen. I mean, a lot of them happen organically and I can't see all the posts that go on. So
No, it's too much.
Yeah.
So, so Barrie, I remember seeing Barrie Families Unite coming onto Facebook. I'm actually a member as well. Probably I'm not an active member, but as I should be. But I'm actually a member of the group.
Yeah.
And have been for a while. So, and you started last March, and you've got 11,000 members.
Yeah, we started last March 14th. This Sunday will be our 1-year anniversary. We're planning a nice little socially distanced online gathering party to celebrate all the wonderful things that this platform was able to help facilitate over the past year. I felt it was worth marking it. It was worth acknowledging.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think a day will be long enough to mark all you've done, though.
Well, it's mostly to celebrate the members. So we've got, I don't know, a couple dozen lovely prizes that have been donated by small businesses and such. We had United Lumber Home Hardware on Bayfield Street has stepped up as a major sponsor. So we've got a lot of ability to give back to our members and appreciate them for, I mean, without having the engaged, active, kind members, there wouldn't be a Barrie Families Unite. So.
Yeah. So how did it come about? How did you come up with the idea for Barrie?
Well, funny, I had another interview this morning. I was saying that none of this was had a long-term vision or plan really, as of much of what we've done with it since March 14th of last year. It's been very reactive and kind of a lot of the things that have transpired in terms of campaigns and such that we've offered have been reacting to what we've been seeing. So the concept itself was just born out of a perception in my mind that if we can travel back in time a year and recall this week, this was the week where we started hearing for the first time the word social distancing and 2 meters, and we had heard about it in China, but it wasn't real to us until about this time last year. So yeah, I think part of just my personal nature, who I am, I like connecting people. I like bringing people together and having that sense of community. So I was in my head getting concerned about what's going to happen to those people, those lower income people, marginalized in our community that need help, that are going to need assistance, seniors, et cetera, et cetera. How are they going to get what they need when we're being told to stay apart? So I had a whole bunch of wacky ideas and I was sharing them with some friends. And so Saturday, March 14th last year, it was a Saturday. One of my friends said, just keep it simple. Like, just start simply. You've got some crazy ideas that would require a lot of work to set up. Why don't you just create like a space, just create a space where people can come together. So I kind of let that percolate in the back of my mind. And at 9 o'clock Saturday night, my family was, I don't know what they were doing, but I went into the office and opened up Facebook, and I talked to another friend that day, asking the pros and cons of a group versus a page. What's the better way to go if I was going to create this kind of a community space to come together? And they said, oh, for sure, make it a group. So I fumbled my way through setting up a Facebook group, picked a name, threw up a cover art image to placehold it, and that was at 9 o'clock. And I had that one friend who said, "Hey, let me know when you've got it up and running. I'll share it around a bit." So she did, and before I went to bed at midnight that night, there were 500 members already in
Wow.
like 3 hours. Yeah, and you know that feeling, in your gut when you've just crossed over a line into a situation that is going to change your next little bit of stretch of
Yeah.
time anyways. I think I knew. I came out of the office after I hit the create button. I said to my husband, I'm like, "Oh dear," because almost immediately I saw the things come in. I'm like, "Oh dear, I feel like I may have started something that's going to take over my life," and it has. Like it has become a full-time plus job, just to keep it up and going and running along. So, but it's been a pleasurable job. It's been I've said to many people that I felt like I've had the best view of humanity this past year because I've had a front row seat. All I do all day long is see all these kind acts occur, and sometimes it's heavy because sometimes some of the situations are sad, and
Yeah.
but it's balanced right away by people jumping in to help those heavy situations, helping complete strangers jumping off their sofas, getting in their cars and dropping off whatever. Yesterday we had someone donate a walker and a shower seat for a lady who her mom was coming out of the hospital in the next day or so, and she herself is on ODSP and has her own health concerns. So her stress levels are high. She's worried about her mom now that she's going to be taken care of, and she just didn't know where to turn. And I put up a post on her behalf anonymously, and within 16 minutes, I closed comments because someone had PM'd me an offer of a brand new walker that
Oh, nice.
they also subsequently delivered. I think within 2 or 3 hours of the post going up, and someone else had a shower stool and they dropped that off as well. So yeah, despite sometimes feeling like there's a lot of heavy things that we see as the team and the volunteers that are working the page, we see all the kindness and stuff that transpires as well. So it's been an honor to witness it, really.
It's a very rewarding job as well.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
but you went from an idea on a Saturday night and literally by Sunday it become reality. You must have found a bit of overload, and you needed help very quickly. So, how did you go about bringing in your people who's helping, or was it just volunteers?
Yeah, it was volunteers, and I wouldn't have remembered this off the top, except that because everything is, once you do something on the internet, it's up there forever. So you can go back and see the dates and such. So I put up a call for help the day after the Sunday, March
Oh,
15th, because I could tell like there was just no way one person was going to be able to stay on top of all of it. And yeah, it's funny because I went through the comments on that post and looked at all these names who now I know these people
right.
well. Most of them, many of them, I still probably have never met in person, but who put up their hand and say, "Yeah, I'll help moderate this group." Or some of them became our first administrators for the page. And yeah, so it was kind of cool to go back and go, "Oh, wow, they've been here since day two."
Yeah,
um,
well, yeah. I'm sure the years went really quick though. It's like probably hard to believe it's been a year. I would imagine.
At times, yeah, it is. And especially when I stop and really take myself back to where our heads were at a year ago. I know people right now are feeling, a lot of people are feeling heavy, and I think they're feeling tired. They're feeling um like this is tiresome now. But
Yeah,
I think we could probably, most of us could agree that we're in a much more calmer sense mind state a year later than we were a year ago, where every news station, a radio station, TV, like news report, everything, all we heard about was
yeah,
COVID, COVID, COVID. And the news changed every day as to how it was transmitted and what we knew about it and what we didn't. So it was a very anxiety-ridden time
Yeah.
for everybody.
Oh, yeah, it changed the whole world. I mean, I remember March the 16th. How I remember it was we were going to do something for one of the local businesses for St. Paddy's Day.
Mm,
And March the 16th, everything shut down.
right.
So that's how it's maybe the Scottish in me, but that's how I remember it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's been a year. It's been a wild ride. I feel that our group, much like every other business, every other charity, every other agency in existence, has spent the year, as has BFU, reacting. It's been a very reactive year. There hasn't been a lot of time to be proactive in our planning, or everyone's. It's all been about the pivot this year, right? That's the one of the
Yeah,
keywords is pivot, pivot, pivot. So I feel just now we're at a space where we've got some space in our heads, and to more calmly go, okay, where do we want this to go?
yeah.
So
So when we started building up, and it was just, I would imagine it started just individuals helping each individuals. But you've been bringing in sponsors and larger companies now. How did you get them involved?
well, actually, this is the very first time we ever asked for a sponsor for anything. Was our first year anniversary event. So this
Oh, was
only
it?
has transpired in the last week. Yeah. Um, up until up until then, really everything we've done has been very organic, very grassroots, member to member. On occasion, when some of our anonymous posts go up and people are looking for help with some gap food, for example, if they need a few days worth to get them to their next food bank
Yeah,
order, or different situations. Um, we often will get people that want help but can't necessarily go shopping, what have you, and they'll say, hey, can I send an e-transfer? So really we've survived and been able to help a lot of people through just organic, again,
yeah.
e-transfers direct to me. People are trusting me, which is a huge honor, I guess, to have that
That is,
trust.
yeah.
And I track everything. Our admin team tracks all incoming e-transfers, by person, by donation and date, and what the intended donation was for, like this anonymous post regarding this family. And then once we go in, we either do the grocery shop or get a volunteer to do grocery shop, and we reimburse them when they've shown us a receipt. We enter that in, and so
Yeah.
that's how we've been. And what happens with that, we kind of discovered this partway through last year, is that we'll get, you put up a post and you'll get 20 people say that they could donate some food, and some other people say they'll donate some money, and then it all has to come together, and you never know when someone says how much food that they want to donate. Some food, is it 3 cans or is it
Oh, yeah.
4 bags? Or when they donate some money, is it $10 or is it $50? And all of it's helpful, but we don't know the specifics until it all kind of. But if we left that post open, if we didn't close comments,
Oh,
people
okay.
would keep offering, and then we'd feel like we're constantly trying to keep up with, because we always want to reply to everyone who offers something. So we'll close comments at some point and see what trickles in. And oftentimes we get more than what we need for that particular
Yeah.
situation. So then we just keep a slush fund, and that allows us to help maybe 1 or 2 more situations without having to go to the group with a new post and a new ask for help. So,
Okay.
which is good, that it's more efficient for us to not have to go to the group every single time needs arise, to have that little slush fund that sits there in our spreadsheet,
Yeah.
knowing that we've got this much money sitting there. So that's how we've operated up until we brought on the major sponsor, United Lumber and Home Hardware, for just to help cover some costs, because now we're starting to get into approaching the infrastructure of setting ourselves up more long term. So there's some overhead costs that have arisen that aren't related to helping people directly, but related to getting ourselves a web domain name and hosting paid for a
Oh, it
year.
always costs money, yeah.
So.
Did local businesses help over the year though by donations and?
That is inevitably, well, yes. Companies have stepped up in all kinds of creative ways, either um, very transparently, like we have seen it happen, or sometimes we're maybe not aware. We don't allow businesses to join. You're not allowed to join the group as a business. We want
Okay,
the individual to be posting and
yeah.
not constantly XYZ,
Oh, no,
you
yeah.
know, market. We want John Smith as a person to show up
Yeah,
and interact. So sometimes we're not maybe aware of, this donation came out of this small businesses marketing fund or slush fund of their own. But there have been scenarios where we've had a moving company help, a
yeah.
cleaning company go in and clean after someone had to move out of a house in a hurry. Um, there's these agencies that help people pack when they have to leave. They help them come in, and we've had that. I just found out a story from one of our members who donated a gift card for our event on Sunday. She donated $100 gift card to a hair salon, Rush Hair Salon, and she said that back last year, her adult
Yeah.
son needed to get down to Toronto for some medical tests, and due to unforeseen circumstances, all of a sudden he didn't have a way to get down there. And I guess she posted on the group, and the owner of Rush Limos offered up a Lincoln Navigator and a driver, and drove this adult, her son, down to Toronto, waited for him to have his exams, his tests, and drove him back up free of charge. And all
Wow.
he said was, pay it forward when you can.
Well,
And
that's
she's
okay.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. She goes, it brought tears to my eyes. And this is a story I had never heard of until like 3 days ago. And I was like, wow, that's lovely. That is lovely. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody. I think it's a great thing now that people recognise that we all have to pay forward,
Mhm.
and some of us are luckier than other people, and so going forward, then what's your vision after the pandemic maybe gets to orange, green? Because there'll still be people needing help.
Right. Well, and these are things we're working on right now. So we've just started, we've had some strategic planning committee meetings with, I put a volunteer application form out a few weeks back now. I've had over 70 application forms come in, and people were able to pick off different kind of areas in which was of interest, and whether I basically premised the application form is we need everything from drivers to dreamers, or dreamers to drivers. I can't remember what I said, but we need the people with a vision. We need to strategize where we want to go with it. We need people that have some fundraising experience. We need people to go down. We've been blessed with the ability to borrow some space from Christmas Cheer at their warehouse. So we have a place where we can sort through clothing and small houseware items and baby items that we get donated, so that we have kits and such ready to go, so that sometimes we can catch pending posts before they even go up to the group and say, oh, we've got all those things. That person doesn't even need to make a public post that they are in need.
Yeah.
We've got them. So we just quietly behind the scenes send them a private message and say, we see your post sitting and pending. We have all those items. We can drop them off tomorrow. Wonderful. So we've got all those things, kind of different opportunities of ways people can get involved, drivers, people picking donations up off porches and dropping them off to someone else, et cetera, et cetera. So we're working on our strategic plan. And I think that the message we've been hearing is that there is a place for a group like this, pandemic or no pandemic. As you said, there's always a need for help. There was a need for help before. And I guess one of my biggest wishes or hopes that a silver lining that will come out of this pandemic is I really do feel that many more people have gained a little smaller, or maybe a little larger scope of beyond their own four walls in their home, and it's allowed them to slow down enough and given them that time to look around them in their own backyard, their own community, and realize that there are people right next door possibly that need help once in a while. And I think that's what BFU does well, is it's a platform for sharing those realizations to people while they're just scrolling through their Facebook feed looking to see what their aunts and uncles are up to. They can also see that, oh, this lady has just left an abusive situation and has nothing. She's starting from scratch. And we've put a list up, and oh, I have a sofa in my garage that's been sitting there for the last 7 months. I've been waiting to take it to the Salvation, whatever you can take furniture. So, you know, it's an easy way to see what needs are out there and to engage with helping your community.
Yeah.
So
are you looking to maybe say in the long term, maybe set yourself up more formal, like a not-for-profit or organization or something like that?
yeah, no, exactly. That was our meeting last night. We're divvying up some research jobs for some volunteers, but we're leaning towards not-for-profit status as the umbrella to register ourselves as. It makes a lot of sense for many different reasons. So I'm thinking that's probably where we'll end up. But we are researching all the options to make sure that we don't want to get into a corner with a specific registration that kind of will stall the momentum that we've created.
The more you formalize, the more paperwork you're going to get.
Yeah. So finding that balance.
Yeah. So how many actual kind of core volunteers do you have helping run?
Well, that has fluctuated drastically over the year that we've been in existence. I would say at some point, probably our number was as high as 30, maybe plus, that were listed. We have a separate Facebook group that's closed and private. That's just for our team. So it's somewhere we can post our updated protocols on how we want to handle these types of posts, or are we accepting these types of posts, or, you know, we keep spreadsheets of different agencies in town that we can refer people to. When we see those questions come up, we try to pop on with that first comment and lead the comments, or lead that post in the right direction. If we can find an active link that we can share, etc. So sharing all that behind the scenes stuff with our team. We have our own little Facebook group that's done that. Right now, currently, we're a little lean in the day-to-day volunteers that we have, but again, I've got these 70 application forms that I just need to find the time to go through. I know there's probably a dozen or plus that have indicated they would be interested in helping with moderating the group, which is time consuming. When it's a social media platform, you don't have 9 to 5 hours, you're up and running. And if we really want to continue to strive to keep it a safe space, which is one of our trademarks of what we're all about, you need eyeballs. You need people monitoring the comments and making sure nothing's going sideways on you. We also actually approve or decline every single post that goes up. So it sits in a pending holding area for our team to look at and decide if it's an appropriate fit. If not, anything we decline, we always put a note from the administration as to why, you know, this is more suitable for a buy and sell. We're focusing on the essentials. If we posted everybody who had a free skateboard that they wanted to get rid of, we'd become another buy and sell. And there are many of those out there. And we've always said, we're not here to reinvent the wheel. Let's let them do what they do well. We're not here to be the next food bank. Let's make sure people are utilizing the food bank. We've got an amazing food bank here in Barrie. It's well funded and well run. So we're here to fill in the gaps, right, where they occur, and they'll always occur.
Yeah, and you have to stay focused on your niche. So if you stay within your niche, then you'll do really well. Well, you are doing really well. So
yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
so we've defined that right now. Again, this is something we're revisiting with our strategic planning committee, what chapter 2 of BFU looks like. But up until this point, we've kind of evolved to where when we talk about essentials, we talk about food, clothing, medical devices, such as like the walker and the shower stool. We've helped with many of those throughout the year, and baby essentials. So formula, diapers. We have a few more things beyond just the essentials for babies. And like I said, clothing. So clothing from literally from newborn to whatever we have.
right.
We have some in stock and in inventory and kitted and ready to go. But if not, you're welcome to put a post up if you are looking for something very specific and we don't happen to have a box of that ready to give you. You can post for that and we will allow those posts to go up because we consider
Okay.
those essential.
Oh, good. So next year, where do you see you be? Do you think you'll be up at 20,000 people?
Oh, membership wise? No, our growth has definitely slowed down. It's still, we're still growing all the time. I actually just did a bit of a statistics summary page. I got a guy working on our website right now on March 5th. So it's just a few days old. So Facebook gives you your analytics on a rolling 4-week basis. So as of March 5th, it said that in the past 4 weeks, we'd had 500 members apply to become members, of which 269 we declined,
Oh,
and
really?
231, is that the right math, we accepted, which I thought was interesting. I mean, and there is a reason behind that. We're not just arbitrarily saying,
No.
you, not you, but we vet them, is what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
our numbers, I mean, some groups and some pages, they don't have a system in place. And so anybody can apply from anywhere around the world to be part of your group and inflate your numbers. But our numbers are local people because we vet them. If there's anything that looks, sometimes your Facebook status will show that you live in Toronto, but you may have moved 3 years ago. Just hasn't occurred to you to change your status. So we have that conversation and verify, do you live in Barrie or work in Barrie, or a 40-kilometer radius is kind of the geographics area that we've set out for being relevant to what we're doing. You also have to have read our rules and agree to abide by them. And your Facebook account has to be older than a certain amount of time. So you didn't just create an account yesterday.
Okay.
Although there's exceptions to all these rules, because sometimes because we only have this method for people to reach us, if they've heard about us from a friend and they don't do Facebook, they create a profile so that they can come in to ask for help. So it's not a hard fast rule, but it's a starting point. We want to eliminate people who just create accounts to troll and cause havoc. So
unfortunately, there is people out there who take great joy in that, and we suffer from it. So I feel for you.
Yeah.
But so I mean, if we could ever help BFU, we would be more than happy to help you. Obviously, as you say, it's all about individuals and stuff like that. So, but if any time you need help, just reach out to Jane, and we will do whatever we can to help you.
Thank you very much.
And I think it's a wonderful thing you're doing. I really do, and I should personally do more. So. We actually help other local businesses for free just now, and that's taken all our time. So
yeah, well, there's lots of great agencies doing a lot of great work in Barrie, and I think that's probably an area where we'll start to be able to put a little more time. We did do a lot of collaborative things with agencies in the past year, again, very reactively. But as we go forward and decide, okay, this is our niche and we are going to run these campaigns on a yearly seasonal basis, we can start to establish those collaborations, partnerships with other agencies and businesses and such, as we start to get into a cyclical kind of.
you'll get into a more like you do quarterly campaigns, and they'll start to plan them out a year in advance. And
we did, like, one of our most successful was our winter. We did 2 days where we ran a free winter outerwear pop-up shop. So we collected donations of jackets, boots, snow pants, toques, scarves, and mitts. That's it. Those items, we probably did, I think, about a 2-week period where we were promoting on our page, and we had a dozen members step up and put bins outside their front porch. This is how grassroots
All
is.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So if you wanted to donate, here was the PDF file we'd send to you, all these locations. So like, we tried to, geographically, scatter them throughout the
Yeah,
city so you wouldn't
yeah.
have to go far. We're trying to make it easy for you. And then the first one, we collaborated with Hope Center. They are downtown Barrie. They do a lot of work with people suffering with addictions and different things. And so they were right across from the bus depot, and we wanted that downtown accessibility. So we had a Saturday late November where we opened up there, and we had all the racks and hangers and everything. It looked like a little store. We had books on shelves, and then we had so much inventory left over. We had a lineup all day long, but we had so much inventory left over because we got so many donations. We decided to do another one a couple weeks later, early December, and we changed locations, and we're up at the new 705 agency that's right on Dunlop.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of them yet, but
Yeah.
so they were just moving in. They had just gotten their occupancy permits and such, and we were one of the first people to throw, I think, a fairly large event in their new space, which was a lovely gesture on their part. So we figure over those 2 Saturdays where we were open for 4 hours each day, we probably had 250 families come through and completely like walk out with bags of, because kids snow stuff. If you got 3 kids, every year you need the next size up, and boots, snow pants, jackets ×3. It's not cheap.
It's not cheap, and unfortunately children keep on growing.
Yeah. So I see something like that. We got so much positive reinforcement from that kind of a campaign that is something that, pandemic or no pandemic, kids aren't cheap. And if you're already minimum wage jobs, and the rate of rent here in town is astronomical. So there's a lot of families out there that every month have to look at how much of their hydro bill they can afford to pay versus food so being able to get access to properly outfit their children in the winter, free of charge, no charge at all, it's a big help to a lot of people. So I see something like that for sure being an ongoing thing, and maybe we do a similar one again for kids, because kids keep growing. We do a similar one in early spring, late spring, as we're needing the summer clothes and access to that, right? So, and we did one of those actually last year as well. It wasn't nearly as big as the winter one, but we were also much younger as a group. It was in May, and it was really kind of our first BFU run campaign that we did. So
now, anytime that you want help publicizing the campaign, just let us know.
I will do that.
No
Thanks,
problem. So well, wind it up, because we like to try and keep podcasts up to about 30 minutes, because then people start to switch off. So it was a great meeting you. Have you got anything you want to add? Do you have anything you want to put out there?
No, I don't think so. And like I said, it's been a fun ride, and I think there's lots more to come, and it's an exciting time right now to be involved and to be able to be proactive and think about where we want to take it and what we want our niche to stick to, and how we do that. So we're just in the heart of that right now with some new volunteers that I'm getting to meet. And I've said to so many people, I've met so many people online, often just via a Facebook Messenger chat back and forth. Some I've done this live face-to-face Zoom, so we've actually gotten to see people real person live, but very, very few have I actually got to actually stand in front of person to person. So that's probably the most unfortunate part in my mind is that it's been such a year of growth and connection in many ways, but I've really actually met very, very few people in person.
Well, hopefully
that'll come.
Hopefully over the next year, as we come out of this situation, then you get to meet a lot of people. I'm sure people are dying to meet you as well. So.
Well, and it's, yeah, I mean, I would just love to meet my team. Many of them I've never even met
Yeah.
in person. And they have put their heart and souls into keeping this up and running as well. So yeah, it'll be great when we can all join together and go out on a patio somewhere and have a drink.
Yeah,
And
yeah, raise a glass of champagne or wine and toast yourself.
exactly.
You
Exactly.
definitely deserve it, and thank you very much for talking.
Thanks, Ian.
And you've done a great job. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Right.
Okay, take care.
Bye.